Welcome back to another episode of Royally Confident and into our mini series on decentering relationships, the three-part mini series that we started in the last episode about decentering relationships. Remember part one, why we center relationships? Part two, how to decenter relationships. And part three, what happens when you decenter relationships? This is really good stuff. Last episode, we talked about part one, why we center relationships, and somewhere you'll see how to get there if you haven't seen it. So, the next is how to decenter relationships. We have a lot to talk about in this episode, so let's get into it. So, how to stop centering your life around relationships. All right, so one is stop making dating your main hobby. Dating should not be your main hobby. You gotta go find a hobby. I used to like to paint by number. Actually, I did not like to paint by number, but that is a hobby that you can do. And now it's not like a kid's thing. They're like really intricate and they look like masterpieces when you paint by numbers. So you could do that. Or diamond art painting. I did one of those. Those took a lot of time, but they look so beautiful at the end. So you could do a diamond art painting, and they don't just have ones for kids, they have a lot for adults. I had this really, really pretty one that looked like a big phoenix. Very artful, very masterpiece. And it was a really nice hobby. So start looking for hobbies that you like. YouTube has a lot to offer, so definitely check out things that you want to do. When I used to live in Thailand, one of my hobbies was having tea parties with my friends, going out, going exploring the cities and stuff, or playing video games. Find a hobby that is not dating, something that excites you and something you would rather do than date. So build a life that doesn't pause when you are single. So this goes back to making like finding a hobby because you want to build a life that doesn't pause when you are single. A good example for me would be when my first relationship ended. It's like my life went on pause and I was distraught, and I was single and I didn't know what to do, so I went on dating apps and I started sleeping around, and that shit did not make me feel better. And so you want to build a life that doesn't pause when you are single. And what I did to do that was I bought my first PlayStation 3. No, was it PlayStation 4? PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we on PlayStation 5? Anyways, I bought the PlayStation before the one that's here, and it really, I built a life where it kept going even if I was not dating. And so you have to build a life that doesn't pause when you are single. So having hobbies, having tea parties with your friends, like it's like when you're out of a relationship, like your life still keeps going exactly the way you want it to go. Start making plans that don't depend on a partner. Okay, I know like everything you can do with a partner, you can go hiking, you can go to a restaurant, but don't make a plan where it's like that you have to have a partner. So you can go hiking by yourself, or you can go with a friend. You can go to dinner by yourself, or you can go with a friend. But you don't need to depend on a partner. So even though I say start making plans that don't depend on a partner, you could also start making plans that do include a partner, but you do by yourself, which we'll get into later. But making plans that don't depend on a partner, which is like playing video games, doing your hobbies that I said, things like that. Start journaling and challenging those beliefs around centering your life around relationships. So if you see in one of the pictures, she's journaling. Yes. So I like journaling when I'm going through something really hard or with a tough decision so I can make a good decision based on what I feel. And when I stopped centering myself around my last relationship, I journaled a lot. And It went back to when I was a kid, centering my life around men, trying to feel like I was enough or worthy because unfortunately I am the one in the three women who've been sexually abused as a kid. And it does have an effect on you, when you do that. And it did have a huge effect on me. And I journaled through it so I could challenge those beliefs and take responsibility of what my decisions were with those beliefs. Okay. Obviously, it was not my fault for the thing that happened to me, and I don't blame myself for that anymore. I used to blame myself, but I don't blame myself for that. What I do blame myself for is the actions I did after that, centering myself around men, um, my worth, talking down to myself, things like that. That's on me now because the person doesn't talk to me. I don't see them anymore. They don't do anything. It's now up to me to change that. So I had to challenge all those beliefs that came with that trauma and how I was centering my life around my relationship. And that actually really helped me when I was journaling because I left the States. Like if I didn't challenge those beliefs, I would have stayed because in that relationship I was in, the last relationship I was in, he had this project that he had to do, and he knew I wanted to leave the States. And he knew I wanted to leave before the year was up. And he always gave me excuses, and I realized I was like waiting for him. And so I had to challenge those beliefs. I had to like build that life that I wanted without a partner. And when I challenged all the beliefs around centering my life around relationships, I actually, once I got the position I wanted, like an online job, I booked the ticket to Japan, and I booked the stay in the hotel and stuff. And I told him, I was like, I'm leaving. And he just looked at me, and I was like, I'm leaving. I'm not waiting for you anymore. I don't know when this project's going to be done. You said it would be done by such and such time. You said it would be done by this time, that time. And the project is still going and going, and they keep extending and extending, and I cannot wait anymore for that. So I'm leaving. And he's a good guy, so he's not going to stop me or tell me how he feels, even though I wanted him to tell me how he feels. I mean, I still would have left anyways. But I did the work, and if you do the work, it will help you to stop centering around men. Invest in your friendships. Okay, so when I left the States, I was alone. I felt so alone because I was in that relationship at the time for like 3 years solid, 24/7 with him. We lived together, we had dogs together, you know. And then when I went to Thailand, I met incredible friends and I started investing my time into them. Like some people, and when they leave the country, they're just like calling their boyfriend, and they're not um wondering about friendships and stuff. Or I've met a lot of women who don't have friends when they're in relationships and things like that because they're centering themselves around their whole relationship. So you want to invest in your friendships. You want to go out with them. You still want to see them. You still want to hang out with them because this all goes back to like building a life, right? Building a life that doesn't pause when you're single. Because when you invest in your friendships, right, and you're single, your friends are going to be there to support you through that time. They're going to take you out. They're going to hang out with you. You could go do things with them. And it's really important to invest in your friendships when you are in a relationship or when you are single. So you can not think about it. So an example would be like, I didn't have my boyfriend when I was in Thailand, of course. And I have needs, if you get my wink. And some people cheat and some people like go look for another partner that is more available and stuff like that. But I invested my time in my friendships instead, and I felt really fulfilled. I was aligned with people that understood me, made me feel seen and heard, and it was so fulfilling being around them that I didn't need to look anywhere else for a man or a relationship because I centered myself around the investment I made in my friends. Basically, I centered myself around me and what I wanted, and I invested in my friendships. So my friendships made me really fulfilled. So I didn't need to seek anything else outside of any relationship. And to this day, like I am single now, and I still feel very fulfilled with the friendships I have in my life that I don't need to go dating and things like that because I have my friends. The only difference between a boyfriend or girlfriend and your friends is that you guys are not intimate and romantically. But the good thing about friendships is that like they last longer most of the time, than an actual relationship. So when you have really good friends, I suggest you invest in them, keep them around. Um, don't wait for them to message you. Reach out to them, invest in them, go out. I used to have tea parties. Like I said, I had tea parties, and those moments were so fulfilling in my life. And I used to have this one friend that every night she would come over and have tea with me and watch a movie. And even when my boyfriend at the time did come to see me in Thailand, I didn't stop my life. I didn't put it on pause. I would still invite her. I would still have movie nights with my friends. I would still have tea parties. And I even told him, I said, my life isn't going to be put on pause when you come here. Like, it's not going to be that way anymore. And I did, and I stayed true to myself. So I highly recommend investing in your friendships because they are really fulfilling when you do, because you don't feel like you need a partner or a relationship, a romantic relationship. Find goals that have nothing to do with relationships, okay? And I have a goal that has nothing to do with relationships, and my goal is to make $1 million a year. And yeah, it's a really big goal, but it's a goal that has nothing to do with relationships. All my focus right now is making money and supporting women. Another goal of mine is to at least support 1 million women who need self love and choosing themselves and confidence and who they are, and just helping them with dating and breaking toxic patterns and things like that. I so enjoy helping women do that. And I feel so fulfilled when my clients are like, "Oh my gosh, you changed my life. I'm so happy." Like, and I feel really happy. So those are my goals. My goal is to reach out to at least 1 million women, and my other goal is to make $1 million a year. So you have to find goals that have nothing to do with romantic relationships or dating or men or things that would alter your growth. So find some goals that have nothing to do with relationships. And this honestly helps me because there's like guys that still message me to this day, and I do not give them my time, and they're like, "Can I get your time?" And I'm like, "You don't make me any money. You're not helping my goals." And I don't need to waste my time on somebody who's not like make helping me grow. And it helps me be like like I don't care about you. Like I don't. Like we don't even know each other well enough for me to like give you all this time when I have a goal that I need to reach, and you're not helping me reach that. So you're not getting that time. And I love my attitude when it comes to that. It helps me decenter men and focus on my goals. Learn to validate yourself before asking others. So I do ask for certain things, but it's very rare for me to ask all the time. I used to always need someone's help to make a decision. And then I would do their decision, and then I would regret it if I didn't like the outcome. And then I would try not to resent them because they helped me make that decision. Because ultimately, it's really like up to you to make that decision. So it's really good to learn to validate yourself before asking others. Like, is this dress pretty on me? Or should I go out with this guy? Or you could say something like, should I buy this makeup or anything that has to do with it, you should validate yourself before asking others. And not saying that you have to do everything, but you definitely don't want to be codependent on validating others because you want to learn how to trust yourself. This is a good like trust yourself exercise to learn to trust your choices, your decisions, and even if they aren't the right decisions, um you learn from that. Like, okay, I realized that wasn't the right decision. I know how can I make a better decision so you can trust yourself even more. So you want to validate yourself before asking others. This is a really good exercise, especially when you are dating, because then you'll start trusting your decisions. Is this person right for me? Oh no, like I don't need the validation. I don't need to ask my friend like, "Oh, um he took me out on all these dates, but I told him I wasn't into sweets and he bought me like a bunch of chocolate. What should I do? Should I date him still? He's a really nice guy." Like, no, you're going to learn how to trust yourself so you can make those hard decisions for yourself. Like, you're gonna, once you start validating yourself, it gets really easy to like say no to men and no to the red, like the people that exhibit red flags. It's easier just to say no, especially if you're investing in your relationships, you're building a life that doesn't involve partners or men or anything. It's not revolved around that. It's going to be so easy to just like walk away from things that don't serve you. So it's really good to validate yourself. It really helps you stop centering yourself around relationships. Yes, I said it. No dating for 6 months to a year. Essentially, if you are single, this is for you. If you're already in a relationship and you realize that you're setting yourself around this relationship, okay, that I understand because I had to do the same thing. I was in a relationship and had to decenter myself from it. That's when you do like the journaling work and all that other extra stuff that I gave you. But if you are single, no dating for 6 months to a year. No dating. This is the time you're going to focus on you. You're going to use these steps and how tos to help you build a life outside of relationships. So you don't ever have to put your life on pause for somebody else because you love the life you built already. And you're going to learn how to love being alone and all this other extra stuff. So there is no dating for 6 months to a year. None. I don't care. None. No dating. If you're centering yourself around men and you're taking in any man, even though you don't see the red flags and things like that, you need to stop dating. You need to focus on you. You need to find your hobby. You need to invest in your friends. You need to do all this other stuff. But it's definitely no dating. No. No, no, no. So you know what else? You need to uninstall the dating apps or anything that you use to meet men right now because you do not need to date. You don't need to look for anything. And if you do go to bars and stuff and you talk to them, don't, you still can't date. You're just talking. Make a friend. Just a friend, not a boyfriend. And then you're gonna start centering a relationship with yourself. Okay, as you can see, this girl is having, if you've seen one of the pictures, she's having like a dinner by herself, a very romantic dinner by herself. She's having a great time. She is happy. So yes, you're gonna start centering a relationship with yourself instead. So that means that you're going to start rescuing yourself. You're going to be your own hero. You are no longer going to need a man or a partner to rescue you because you're going to rescue yourself. That's what the journaling comes in, and or go to therapy. Something that helps you rescue yourself. Be your own hero. So if money is the issue, you know you got to learn how to make more money or create more money. Be your own hero, and so you will no longer be needing a partner to, you won't have that, oh, he'll rescue me from my loneliness. No, because you are gonna work on that. You're gonna rescue yourself from loneliness. That has nothing to do with like having a partner. Start planning what a happy ending looks like without a relationship. Yes. What would a happy ending look like if you didn't have a partner? If someone literally didn't romantically choose you, what would your life look like? Okay, and I will give you an example because I have been planning that. So, if I said to myself, if I don't find a romantic partner, and I know I do want to get married one day, but I want the whole wedding and the whole shabam, right? I want that whole good wedding and stuff, but I'm not thinking like a wedding with another person. I'm thinking about having my own wedding myself. I saw on some reels that in Japan they do that, and then in this TV show that I watched, she her mom had a wedding to celebrate herself because she loved herself so much that she wanted to marry herself. And I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm gonna buy my happy ending is like I'm gonna be making $1 million a year. I'm gonna be helping the people in my family out that I want to help, and I'm gonna be traveling all around the world. And then I'm going to have this whole big event where I make a video where I'm proposing to myself. I'm going to buy my dream wedding dress and uh a tux to take a picture of me in a tux, right? Like a picture of me in a tux, and then make it like a cardboard cutout of me in the tux, and then I'm gonna put that on in the wedding because I want a wedding in the forest or like near the beach. Yeah, forest. I want it in a forest because I want like a fantasy fairy kind of thing wedding. And I'm gonna walk down that aisle and I'm gonna invite all my friends and my family and I'm gonna walk down the aisle in my dream dress that I wanna walk and I'm gonna go see and I'm gonna look up and then I'm gonna see it's me and I'm gonna marry me and we're gonna have this big reception to party about celebrating my marriage to me because I commit myself to me, I commit to loving me, I commit to loving myself forever. I want all that commitment that people say like in their marriage vows, right? But I want to do it for myself. So that is what my happy ending looks like. So I want you to start planning what your happy ending looks like without a romantic relationship. Because let me tell you, I'm so excited about it. I plan it here and there and things like that. So you can make like a wedding portfolio, but like a wedding portfolio with you. Like I have my friends as my bridesmaids. Like I have the whole shebang, but I'm marrying me. I envision that as my happy ending, and also like being rich, very, 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 very rich. So that's what I mean about planning your happy ending without a romantic relationship. And this is very important because a lot of women plan, I want the house, I want the kids, I want the picket fence, and I want the American dream, and da 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 da. And then they're not getting it, and then they feel like I gotta date anybody who gives me a chance so I can get that dream. And I've met women who like date and marry people they do not want to marry because they want that dream and then they eventually divorce because of it. So it's best to build, like, it's okay if you want to get married, have kids, have that white picket fence or whatever. Cool. That could be a dream, a goal of yours. But also you need to plan what it would look like without it. Because if you don't, you will like center yourself around relationships more than you should. So it's good to have a like like the backup plan like okay, if I do not have this romantic relationship, how can I get that house myself? Like what do I need to do? How much do I need to save? And I can adopt kids or I can do the in, what is it insertion so I can just have a baby myself and I can actually ask my friends, if they would ever support me and help me raise the kid together. You never know. Some might be like, yeah, like oh definitely, you're my girl, you're my best friend. You might never know because you might have a friend that also thinks like, I want a house and kids, and I might not be in a romantic relationship, but then I have my best friend. Like we should definitely celebrate friendships because friendships you might never know. So I suggest you start planning what a happy ending looks like without a relationship because then that will help you stop picking people that are not aligned with you because you're like, you know what? I can see the red flags and I don't need to get married. I don't need to have a relationship that's not something that I need It's something I want, but you're not what I want. And I know what I want, and I'm going to have my house, I'm going to have my kids, and if I don't have a man, that's okay. And that's where you start challenging those beliefs too, where everyone says you need a partner to raise kids and things like that. And yes, kids are very, very, they're a lot. And that's where you should invest in your friends, and, even talk to them about it, like, I want a kid, but I don't want to do it alone. And see some that would be like, oh my God, I would love to be the auntie or something like that. You never know. So just know that you will never know unless you ask and unless you do the investment in your friendships and things like that. Because the investment in your friendships builds stronger bonds. So start planning what a happy ending looks like without a relationship. Start loving yourself the way you want a partner to love you. Yes, this is so important. I cuddle myself. I have a body pillow I cuddle with, right? I also like just like, rub myself, or I've always liked the touch the face thing, like if someone touches my face. So like I do it to myself, and I just like touch the parts of my body that I want a partner to touch, and I'll just touch myself. It sounds so nasty. It's actually not nasty because it's normal. So yeah, so basically like cuddling yourself, showing your affection. Um, I like platonic cuddling with my friends and or cuddle puddles to get that dopamine. I start taking myself out on dates, spoiling myself, doing things that I'd want a partner to do to me. Like I love myself the way I want my partner to love me, which is unconditionally. Right, and I love myself so much that I won't accept anything less. If a person was trying to be like my boyfriend, they would have to treat me the same way. Like I listen to my wants, I listen to my needs, I respect my boundaries, I invest in my friends and things like that. I have a life that's not on pause because I'm single, and I want my partner to be the same way. But if I don't have a partner and I stay single for like the rest of my life, at least I know I'm giving it to myself. And honestly, I did think that I needed like a man for like a second to get like those needs in the bedroom met and stuff. And then I did do that, and I realized I have a better time with myself. So I know that notion's like completely out. I can handle everything, like literally everything. I'm protecting myself. I've rescued myself. I protected myself. I get the intimacy needs met. I get the emotional needs met. I get the physical needs met. I do it myself, and I don't need a partner. So it's really easy to like leave someone who doesn't give me the love that I'm giving myself or more, and it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. And honestly, I would rather be single the rest of my life than settle for someone who cannot love me as much as I love me. And they gotta love themselves too, as in, like they gotta love themselves. They have to really love themselves too. This isn't like you're insecure. Like no, like they gotta love themselves. But it's so much easier because I love myself the way I want a partner to love me. So fun too. My gosh, so fun. So for 1 week, don't make a single decision based on whether a man might approve of it. Like do something that you've always wanted to do, but you've always waited permission to do. You don't need to. And this is just not like a man, just like anybody. Make a single decision and on whether like anybody would approve of it. So just do it. Don't ask your friends if you should do it. Just do it yourself. So that is how to stop centering your life around relationships. If you have any questions and things like that, please let me know because I would love to answer them. And thank you for coming into this episode on how to stop centering your life around relationships. This was a lot. We talked about a lot. So remember, yeah, you gotta basically, in all, you need to have a relationship with yourself first, invest in your friendships, and love yourself the way you want a partner to love you, because then you get the love that you've always been looking for. To be honest, that I love myself so much that I don't need another man's love or another like person's love because I love myself. I'm obsessed with myself, to be honest. I'm really obsessed with me. But I love my friends and I love that they love me and I love my family and I love that they love me. But I love myself more, so I respect myself more. I choose myself more. I I make decisions based on what I want to do, and I'm still figuring things out too. You know, I'm still growing and still becoming more and more and more obsessed with myself. But honestly, I love it. I can't stop, and I won't stop. And I don't want you to stop. And I want you to be obsessed with yourself so that you won't fall for those red flags and you won't fall for those mediocre, less than bare minimum things that you don't deserve. So make sure you give yourself the most best princess treatment. Make sure you give yourself more than the bare minimum. And make sure you invest in those friendships because your dreams will come true. And let me know. I want to know. And thank you. As you know, we have the Royally Confident Collective. Yes, this is where women come together and we support each other. I have meditations on decentering relationships. I have meditations on comparisons. I have guidebooks, workshops, things like that, and they're all in this community that I have built so women can support other women, so you not have to do this alone. That you could make new friends so you can invest in. And I think this collective would be really good if you want to work on your self-worth, start respecting yourself, self-esteem, and beautiful things like that. So thank you. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more love, growth, and confidence. Because we all want a relationship with ourselves, right? Come on. Honestly, I really love myself. I'm like super obsessed. And I want you to be obsessed with yourself too. So subscribe. Bye.